Elvis jumpsuits. Lots of jumpsuits. Due to popular request, I have decided to make the complete and decisive jumpsuit list. Quick disclaimer, there are some Vegas seasons where we don't have any information on what jumpsuit he was wearing, so this is a mostly complete list. Also, before we start, I've been up all night editing this, and it's long as it is, so there will be no footage of him using the jumpsuits, just photo and how many times he wore it, for the sake of the length of the video. And I promise to make up for this, next week my video is going to be the best video you have ever seen from me. Deal? Great. First is the Egyptian suit, worn 15 times. The following suits are tied, the first of which is the Silver Phoenix, worn 14 times. Editing Gabe here. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of ties, so kinda just bear with me on. Next is the Peacock suit, worn only in 1974. Then the American Eagle suit, worn in 73 and 74. Next is the V-neck, worn from 75 to 1976. Another tie. I told you there'd be a lot. These suits are worn 13 times. The blue nail, worn in 1972 only. The totem pole, worn only in 1975. The blue starburst, worn 10 times by Elvis. Then you have the chain suit, which was also worn 10 times by Elvis. Then you have the fringe suit, which is worn 9 times. Another That's the Way It Is suit. And then, of course, you have the turquoise concho, also worn 9 times. This was right after That's the Way It Is in 71. Then you have the white pinwheel, which was worn 9 times for Elvis on tour mostly. And then you have the pharaoh suit, which was worn 9 times again. 9 seems to be his favorite number. Then you have the orange sunburst, worn, you guessed it, 9 times. Then, of course, you have the turquoise phoenix, which is worn 8 times in total. And then you have the chicken bone suit, which is worn 8 times, which is the totem pole with those little bones added to it. Then you have the black phoenix, which was actually supposed to be a zebra, is what it started out as, which is worn 8 times. Then the red pinwheel, which was worn 7 times, also known as the Burnin' Love suit for Elvis on tour. Then you have the fire suit, which is the non-embroidered one, the studded one, worn 7 times. Then you have the nail-studded suit, which was worn 7 times by him. Then in 1973 you have the Arabian, also called the King of Spades, worn 7 times. And of course the 1974 embroidered American Eagle, which was worn 7 times. And then you have the Rainfall suit, which is another studded one, worn 7 times. Then you have the Thunderbird, worn 6 times, which takes its inspiration from the American Eagle. Then the Aqua Blue Vine, which was worn 6 times, which has the little aqua blue beads at the end of it. Then the Red Phoenix, which was worn 6 times by Elvis. And then the Knot suit, which was worn 5 times and is one of the rarer ones to find a photograph with. Then the black and red Cisco Kid, which he wore 4 times. The black and blue, which is a light baby blue Cisco Kid, worn 5 times. The white firework suit, which was worn 5 times in 1972. You have the 1971 Snowflake, which he wore 5 times. Then you have the Adonis, also known as the Comet suit, which is worn in 72 mainly, again 5 times. You have the Eyelet suit, which was worn 5 times, most famously in Madison Square Garden. Then you have the Lucky suit, also known as the Royal Blue Swirl. Then you have the 1973 Snowflake, which has more crystal on it, which is worn 5 times. Then you have the Gold Vine, which is the same as the turquoise, but that little crystal at the end instead. Then you have the Blue Brocade, which is worn 4 times. Then you have the White Brocade, which is also worn 4 times, part of the set of suits he had made. Then you have the White and Black Cisco Kid, which is worn 4 times. Then you have the Black Butterfly, which he wore 4 times in 1972 and I believe early 73. Then you have the Royal Blue Firework, also known as the Owl suit, for 72. Then you have the Wheat suit, which he also wore in Madison Square Garden in 1972. Then you have the White Spanish Flower, which he wore 4 times. Then you have the Black Spanish Flower with the red stones, worn 4 times, not the green stones. Then you have the Thin Green Leaf suit, which he wore 3 times. It looks like a brocade set as well. Then you have the Concho suit, which he wore 3 times, most famously, and That's the Way It Is. Then you have the wing suit, which he wore 3 times, mainly in 71 and late 1970, I believe. Then you have the cobweb suit, also known as the mint suit, which is worn 3 times. Then you have the black and green Cisco Kid, which he wore 3 times. Then you have the black firework, which is also worn 3 times. It had multiple belts, but the green one is my favorite. Then you have the black pinwheel, which he wore 3 times as well, again in 72 and 71. Then you have the white pyramid, which was a 72 suit. You also have the Aztec Star, which was a 1971 suit, again mostly used in Vegas. Then you have the Saturn suit, which he wore 3 times. And then, of course, you have the Blue Rain suit, which is similar to the Rainfall studded one, just different colors. Then you have the White Conquistador, which is worn 3 times. Then you have the Black Brocade, which is worn 2 times. Then you have the Red Ladder suit, which is worn twice by Elvis. And then coming up, you also have the Metal Eye suit, which was worn 2 times by Elvis in the early 70s. Then you have the Nail Swirl suit, which was worn 2 times in the early 70s. Then you have the lace suit, which he wore twice. I think in 1971 it was. Then you have the tassel star suit, which he wore twice and has those little tassels on there, you can see. Then the black conquistador he wore in Hawaii in 1972. Then you also have the lava suit, which is a non-embroidered one, and it was worn twice. Then you have the nail mirrored, which was worn twice. Then you have the colorful flame, which is the lava embroidered, which was also worn twice. Then you have the white nail suit, which he wore 1 time ever. Then you have the blue pinwheel, which he wore 1 time ever, and I can't find any photos of Elvis wearing. And then you have the Spanish flyer with green stones, which is worn 1 time. Alright, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week with my best video yet, as promised. Until then.